They say everything's bigger in Texas, but what about the quesadillas? Let's find out today as we make some Texas chicken quesadillas, courtesy of Michelle from All Recipes. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. For this recipe, we need to cut an onion into rings. Cut off the ends, and then peel the outermost layers. Once you have your onion peeled, I would say cut it in half, just because I'll have half rings, and then go along the grain. Rest the blade against your knuckles. You also need to cut 2 boneless chicken breasts into strips. I got 3 just to have a little bit of extra meat. So cut the width of these, just whatever your personal preferences are. Maybe you like your pieces thicker or thinner, that's up to you. And then trim the fat off as well if you don't want that in your quesadillas. Get a medium skillet over medium-high heat and pour a tablespoon of vegetable oil into it. And let that heat up. Once it reaches medium-high heat, put your onions in. Mine's not quite there yet, or you'd hear them sizzling. That sizzle is the sound you want. That's how you know you're on medium-high. And you'll see that some of my smaller pieces of onion are really starting to look wet and more clear. So keep stirring until they're pretty clear looking. At this point, a majority of the onion rings are translucent. They're very clear looking. So stir in a tablespoon of honey. Stir this around for about 5 minutes until the onions are golden brown. Or at least light brown. At this point, a majority of the onion is golden brown. I'm just at about 5 minutes of stirring after adding the honey. So take your onion out of the pan, set it aside. Put it back on your skillet. Put another tablespoon of vegetable oil into your medium-high heat skillet. And now put in your cut up pieces of chicken breast. Cook these pieces until they're no longer pink. Once you no longer see any pink on your chicken and the juices have been mostly drained, add half a cup of barbecue sauce. And stir that around to evenly coat your chicken. Now put tortillas on a sprayed baking sheet, a greased baking sheet. Put a few pieces of chicken on each. Be careful to not let all your sauce run out. Put a few of your onions onto each one. This recipe makes 4 quesadillas, so I'm doing 2 more on the side from this as well. But you're going to need to take half a cup of shredded cheddar and spread it evenly over all 4 of your quesadillas. And you're going to need to take half a cup of shredded Monterey Jack and spread it evenly over them. Now put a tortilla on top, press it down. Of course, this is what makes it a quesadilla. Now it's time to get our quesadillas into our preheated oven for about 20 minutes. Just make sure your tortillas don't become too crisp. Again, this is cooking, so that's really up to you and your personal preference. Make sure the cheese is melted also. And it says cook them uncovered. About 20 minutes. Alright, it's been about 15 minutes for me, and the cheese is starting to melt. The tortillas aren't too brown on top. They look really good. At this point, they recommend quartering them. Kind of like what you see with quesadillas in restaurants and things. You can let it cool a little. I'm kind of crushing mine by quartering it. Alright, so I have my quartered quesadilla. It's pretty sloppy, but it wouldn't be my cooking if it wasn't sloppy. Let's try some. It's really good. The onion is nice and caramelized. The chicken is cooked thoroughly and has a nice barbecue flavor to it. And the cheese goes really well also. I don't know if this quesadilla is any bigger just because it's from Texas, but it's definitely good. Try it and be proud of yourself. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.